All right, let's talk about this further. How are India and Austria ties being taken forward following the visit by Prime Minister Modi? After 41 years, a Prime Minister visited that country. We have Hans-Jörg Hörtnagl, Commercial Counsellor and Trade Commissioner of the Austrian Embassy in India with us. We also have Ajay Singh, Head of Technology and Innovation of the Austrian Embassy in India in our studio. Welcome to you both. If I could start with you, Hans-Jörg, what can you tell us about the Prime Minister referred to a strategic direction to the ties that are already there between India and Austria. Tell us about what sort of ties already exist and what we may see coming in the future.
You see, between India and Austria, there exists a very strong economic relationship which goes back basically to the time of Indian independence. So in that days, the Indian steel industry, the huge plants in Bokaro, Rourkela, had been built up with the famous Austrian steel making process. So in the following years and decades, we intensified our relations, especially in the last 10 years, as it was mentioned. Every year we have a new export record, new import record. So Austria is basically a very strong technology provider. Austrian companies, we don't have multinational companies in Austria. We are a middle-sized country within the European Union. And typically we have SMEs, small and medium companies. We have like 400 hidden champions. Which have the state-of-the-art technology and belong in their specific technical fields to the 3 or top 5 in the world. So in the last years, Austria was a reliable partner in the automotive supply industry. We are very strong in infrastructure, so railway. We have 10 Austrian companies in the railway infrastructure, very strong. Then maybe, as you know, in India they use the Austrian tunneling method. We have some really high-profile projects done.
The uses Austrian tunneling method.
Yes, yes. Like the Ajay tunnel in the Hörtnagl pass was done with Austrian technology. We are strong in traffic management. We did the smart city project in Varanasi. And as I mentioned before, we are very strong what we call green technology, circular economy. We are doing a project in Agra now. We're doing a project in West Bengal. Then Austria, and the new areas we would like to cover is we are very strong, for example, recycling technologies, as an example, in the cement industry. In Austria, in the cement industry, we are reaching 100% using alternative fuel. Mm-hmm. Alternative fuel means...
And you intend to do this with transfer of technology, or you bring everything, all the equipment and set it up here?
No, we have the full set of technology, transforming garbage into fuel for the cement industry, for example. And then there are new areas, for example, cable car projects. As you know, cable car rotary projects. Austria is really the worldwide market leader. We are building it. We have companies planning it, inspection, monitoring. So one project was done is the Girna project, which was a very technology, very tough project. It was done in Gujarat by an Austrian company. So there are new areas we want to work on, and where Austria is really strong.
Okay, wonderful. Tell us about startups and the startup bridge, Ajay, because it's a relatively new initiative, and so far, I believe delegations have come and gone in both the countries. But what is actually being explored here, apart from a general familiarization of different ecosystem? What kind of partnerships can we look at? Is it also going to become a route for market access in each other's countries for each other's startups?
Yeah. Thank you very much for the question. And this, as you rightly mentioned, the startup bridge is a topic of the discussion at this moment. But we started actually 3 years back. We had already 4 Indian startup delegations participated in our flagship event like SARS 21, Austrian Alpine Conference, and also the flagship event Vienna Up. So we are looking at, we had almost 125 entrepreneurs in Austria from Indian side. We had 5 entrepreneurs from Austrian side to India. We had 5 delegations. But we wanted to structure this, so that is what we see the structural approach of this collaboration is a startup bridge. What we are looking at under this startup bridge is more collaboration, more technical know-how, also using Indian startups, technology and collaboration combined with the innovation hubs of Austria. It could be a gateway to European market for the Indian startup, also same on the similar line for the Austrian startup with a massive Indian market for their technology, innovation, and all sorts of the collaboration opportunities. We are looking at the collaboration in terms of mentorship network. We are also looking at capital. We are looking at incubator accelerator.
Could there be an exploration of setting up different funds for in Austria for Indian startups and Indian funds for Austrian startups. Is that something also that
I think
could be in the pipeline?
this could be one of the possibility.
Or a fund of funds, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I would love to do that. But this could be the step 3, but we are at step 1, where we actually established the startup bridge.
We're a little impatient here.
Maybe you need to call me again for this fund of funds. But I can assure you there are VCs and the angels interested in the Indian startups. We already initiated some conversation from the Austrian side to invest, also look very deeply to the Indian startup ecosystem. You see, we have 142,000 Indian startups, and they are doing wonders. And Austria really want to tap this opportunity. Same time, Austria is the technologically ingenious opportunities. The technology we are using already in India. So we want to make this collaboration even more sustainable and more bilateral for both the ecosystem.
Well, Godspeed. And Hans-Jörg, in terms of there's trade, of course, there's investment and technology. What about the aspect of mobility and migration? Because that is also something that has happened very recently. How do you expect that will move forward from this point on, when Prime Minister Modi and Chancellor Nehammer have had a chance to talk about it as well, taking it forward?
You see, we see more in the last months the trend that every second day we get a call of the Austrian companies, and they want to use, how you call it, the Indian talent system here. So the Indian talent pool. So Austrian companies want to, apart from manufacturing here, setting up plants here, assembling plants. More and more companies ask us setting up small offices, how you call it, global capability centers, 15, 20 persons in engineering, in drawing, in designing, in software development, and working for the head office in Austria. So this, I think, is the future, and I think, as you said here, India really could be the office of the world, and now the Austrian SMEs are coming. So I want to say migration is not always necessary.
And in terms of trade, right now, of course, there's a slight advantage that India has, because the trade balance is skewed in our favor, but it's not very substantial. Yeah. But do you feel, because the leaders also mentioned the India-EU trade pact, saying that it's been going on for 23 years and it should be accelerated, what can Austria do to push the envelope a little harder, faster, so that it works out?
Well, first of all, we see in our figures. We had last year plus export of 8%. We had the first quarter of this year plus 40%, so it's really going on. But as I mentioned before, new areas we would like to offer technology in India is a circular economy. It's road safety, for example, where Austria is a world market leader. So there are a lot of technology areas where Austria is market leader, where we can be a reliable provider to India. And for example, a relatively new area is Bollywood production. So in the last 20 years, we had 100 Bollywood productions in Austria. It's very interesting. It's changing also the topics now, and this is an interesting topic we want to work on also.
And where can India's exports get a booster? Which are the areas that could be there for further export of, say, electronics and all? Yeah.
But this is a very interesting point. I mean, if you analyze the export structure of India to Austria, there was a major change the last 10, 15 years. 15 years ago, it was traditionally textiles, garments. In the meantime, this completely changed. 25% are engineering goods. India is exporting already motorcycles to Austria. India is exporting engineered goods, of course, chemicals, pharmaceuticals. And also new trends, as I mentioned before, is this PLI system, which works out. And last year, we imported iPhones from India, smartphones worth 80 million euros, and the year before was 0. So this also shows the new strength of India, being a major supplier in the global supply chain.
Wonderful. Well, we hope that this entire process gets further accelerated and gets a boost through these engagements that have got a fillip with this visit that Prime Minister Modi's undertaken. He's also extended an invitation to both the Chancellor and the President as well, and I hope that is reciprocated very soon as well. Thanks for joining us to talk about
Thank you. Great
this
to be
evening.
here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The headline event of Prime Minister Modi's Austria visit was the address he delivered to the 31,000-strong Indian diaspora in Vienna. The Indian community in Austria had been waiting for connecting with the Prime Minister and Indian Prime Minister for nearly 41 years. And Prime Minister Modi not only established a direct rapport with them, but also praised them as India's ambassadors in Europe who can do a lot for their homeland, which is swiftly striding towards becoming a developed nation by 2047.